Hey there. So, really, I just want to keep this short and sweet. One of the biggest pitfalls we see when individuals put trust in place um, is that they really don't properly fund them. One of the main goals when clients go to an attorney and put a trust in place, and the most common type of trust will be a revocable living trust. But regardless of the fact of what type of trust it is, when that trust is put in place, there are typically, goals of either avoiding probate or avoiding or paying less estate tax, one or both. And if the trust isn't actually funded, then we don't accomplish those goals. And what I mean by funded is, we need to make sure that our accounts and our assets and real estate and all the things that we have are titled properly. And that might mean that some of these accounts and assets, such as real estate, are actually retitled to the trust, meaning we're going to Bank of America or we're going to our advisor at Schwab or Wells Fargo, and we're actually retitling that checking account or savings account or brokerage account to the trust. In some cases, we're just making sure the beneficiaries are up to date and we've got the right designations. Whether it's we're putting our spouse first and kids as contingent, or maybe the trust is going to be in there as a contingent beneficiary, depending on the circumstances. We just need to make sure that the trusts are funded. Okay, huge pitfall, because we've seen people where they had trusts in place, and knock on wood, normally not clients of ours, but then all of a sudden their estate goes through probate because they didn't fund the trust. They didn't retitle the accounts to the trust like they should have, which allows them to actually avoid probate. Or somebody didn't put certain accounts in a trust or their assets in a trust, and so they weren't actually able to take advantage of the trust and helping reduce their estate tax liability, if that's why they were creating them. So again, we can't stress this enough, that if you have a trust in place, please make sure that it's funded. And if you feel that you need any help, let us know. We are happy to help with the funding process. On another side of the coin, for those of you that might have a taxable estate, an estate as an Illinois resident that's over $4 million, if you're doing planning with a spouse, typically, you're looking at having two separate trusts in place. And so the one thing that you really need to consider is that as time goes on, you want to make sure that those two trusts are funded appropriately. We want to make sure that if a married couple has $6 million, they're not putting $5 million in one spouse's trust and only $1 million in the other. Okay, we want to make sure that they're balanced out to some extent. When IRAs are involved, it can be a little tricky. But again, we can help with these things. We can help advise. A lot of times we'll also discuss with the financial advisor, make sure that we work as a team so that at the end of the day, the planning that you have in place is actually going to do all the things that you want it to do. Okay, so hope you found this helpful, and we'll see you next time.